All right, while blue states continue deteriorating on the national stage, Florida, they are setting the pace. This week, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is urging state lawmakers to ban first-cousin marriages, a practice that is shockingly still legal, and one he links to what he is calling stealth jihad. And he also signed a law empowering him and other state leaders to designate groups as terrorist organizations. Here with more is the governor himself, the governor of my free state of Florida, Governor Ron DeSantis. Governor, good to see you. Maybe I'm just a little ignorant here. I didn't know that it was legal to marry a first cousin.
Well, in a lot of states, it's not. Florida needs to get with the program on that one. It's obviously part of cultures that are antithetical to American values. And so that's something that we will get done one way or another. But on the broader issue of not allowing Islamist groups to get public money from things in Florida, whether it's education or any of the other things that we're doing, you've got to draw a very clear red line. And the red line I've drawn is we'll spend millions on public safety, millions on education, but not 1 cent for jihad. And so we have to identify groups that are supporting these organizations. And it may not be that they're personally committing attacks, but if they're funding them or providing material support, that's something that our state has got to recognize and then act appropriately. And then the legislation I did also has a firm ban on any use of Sharia law, not just at the state level. We don't want to end up like Europe, where they have no-go zones, where you have these little subcultures where this stuff's imposed. That now is totally off the table in Florida.
Do you think that the fact that Great Britain has nearly 100 Sharia courts and there are no-go zones in places like France and other parts of Europe, we discussed the continent is really deteriorating. They have neglected their national security and defense spending. They've embraced socialism, climate alarmism. And now they abandon America, wouldn't even help support us and let our planes land while we're fighting the #1 state sponsor of terror. Why should we even align ourselves with those people at this point? And I'm not sure. I think they might have hit the point of no return. I'm not sure what they could do about unfettered illegal immigration without assimilation. I don't know how you fix that.
Well, they've really shot themselves in the foot. I mean, you look at like the United Kingdom. That has been our best ally historically. We obviously came from there. Our culture grew out of English culture, our constitution and laws, all this stuff, very tight bond. But I think what they've done and other European countries have done, they've imported in mass numbers people who don't want to be British, don't want to be French. They want to take where they came from and they want to change those countries to reflect things like Sharia. So if the reason why we have been allied with them for so long is because we have strong political and cultural bonds, well, those have eroded because of decisions that they have made. So I think what they've done, particularly on mass immigration, has been suicidal. We can't make those mistakes in the United States. And, when I signed this legislation, some people are like, oh, well, that's not happening in Florida or whatever. First of all, they said the same thing 10, 15 years ago in Britain. They said, oh, don't worry about this. And then now you've seen what's ended up happening. So we're ahead of the curve here. It's the right thing to do. But yes, Europe's made a huge mistake. And the fact that if you don't want to join a military conflict, that's one thing. But to not allow us to use bases when we're not only your top ally, but have funded your defense for decades, I think a lot of people in the United States have taken note of those actions.
Governor, in this state of Florida, you're seeing another massive wave of migration into Florida, especially among very wealthy people. They're coming out of California. They have a referendum out there that would implement a wealth tax retroactive to January if, in fact, it's passed in November. You see the same thing, a wealth tax in the state of Washington. You see people, former CEO of Starbucks, now living in the free state of Florida. You see Mamdani wants a 50% death tax just for New York City and lowering, the threshold from 7.5 million to 750,000. You can't live in a closet in New York City for that amount of money. So I mean, they just keep pushing people right into our state. I mean, I'm beginning to worry that it's going to get a little too crowded here.
Well, I mean, this guy, this mayor in New York, he said he's running on affordability. You know, he was attacking the billionaires, but he wants to raise property taxes on police officers. He wants to say $750,000, which you're right. You're not living high on the hog in New York, of all places, with that. But I will tell you, this California wealth tax, I've never seen a mere proposal. It hasn't even been passed yet. I've never seen just a proposal spark so much change in behavior. And some of the folks that have moved to Florida, I mean, very big names, obviously massive net worth, but they want to take 5% of wealth, which is a bad enough tax. It's stupid, it's counterproductive, but they impute your voting rights. So if you have shares in a company, but then you have way more voting rights, they act like you own all those shares in equity, and then you're supposed to pay tax on it. Nobody is going to sign up for that. And so Florida is yet again the refuge for sanity.
Could we have a political litmus test? In other words, if you come from these blue states, there ought to be a law that says you can't bring your stupid politics with you if you're coming from a blue state. Just saying. I know you can't do that, but I can always wish out loud. Governor, we appreciate it.
Many wish we could do that, Sean. I will tell you that.
I agree. Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.